Europe, a city of lights, tradition, and royal glamour. But on this day, it wasn't the ceremony that left everyone speechless. It was what Princess Leonor whispered to Prince Christian. A single moment, a few quiet words, yet those words changed everything. Because behind the royal smiles, the polished etiquette, and the glittering crowns, something real happened. Something no one expected at the Copenhagen ceremony. When Princess Leonor leaned closer to Prince Christian, the cameras caught it. A soft exchange, a glance too meaningful to be rehearsed. And suddenly, the world wanted to know, what did she say? To understand this moment, we need to go back. Back to when their paths first crossed, not as royals fulfilling duty, but as two young hearts standing at the crossroads of destiny. Leonor of Spain, the future queen, poised, graceful, raised under the strictest traditions of Zarzuela Palace. Every word she speaks is weighed, every gesture analyzed. And yet, when she met Prince Christian of Denmark, something shifted. He wasn't just another royal heir. Christian carried a quiet charm, a steady presence, and a sense of freedom Leonor rarely experienced. Their families had known each other for years. Royal gatherings, summer visits, official events. But it was in 2024, during a private royal engagement in Madrid, that something quietly began. Witnesses described it as instant connection. Leonor smiled differently around him, warmer, softer. And when Christian looked at her, it wasn't with duty. It was admiration. Months passed. Rumors began to circulate. Danish and Spanish tabloids started whispering, "Are the young royals growing closer?" Official sources denied it, of course. But insiders saw something more. Subtle exchanges during royal banquets, knowing glances at state ceremonies. The kind of tension that no protocol could hide. Fast forward to Copenhagen, October 2025. The air was crisp, the city alive with royal splendor. The event, a symbolic joint celebration marking renewed ties between Spain and Denmark. But for those watching closely, there was another story unfolding. Leonor arrived at the cathedral in a stunning cream ensemble, elegant, understated, and radiant. Christian, tall and composed, greeted her with a bow that was just a bit deeper than protocol required. Cameras flashed. The audience murmured. And then, during the ceremonial blessing, Leonor leaned slightly toward him. She spoke. Just one sentence. Quiet, quick, intimate. Christian's face froze, then softened into a smile that even the most seasoned royal watchers had never seen before. What did she say? That question ignited Europe. Lip readers analyzed every frame. Journalists compared angles. Social media erupted in theories. Some claimed she said, "You did it beautifully." Others insisted it was something far more personal, "I'm proud of you." But one Spanish correspondent close to the royal household shared a different interpretation. According to her source inside Zarzuela, Leonor's words were simple, emotional, and revealing, "You make this feel real." And that explained everything. Because for Leonor, the young woman whose every move was dictated by royal protocol, something real was rare. In that instant, the ceremony stopped being just a diplomatic event. It became something personal. Something between two young heirs standing on the edge of history and heart. After the ceremony, the moment didn't fade. As the royal families gathered outside for the traditional balcony appearance, Leonor and Christian exchanged one more look. Not defiant, not forbidden, just quietly honest. Royal watchers described it as the look of understanding. A shared awareness that their bond, however private, had just gone public. Inside the palace, the reactions were mixed. Queen Letizia was seen watching them with careful eyes, composed, yet protective. King Felipe, ever the strategist, maintained his formal demeanor, though sources later claimed he had privately spoken to Leonor that evening about maintaining perspective. Across the palace in Denmark, Queen Mary reportedly smiled when asked about the incident, simply saying, "They're very young, but very good friends." Yet her tone hinted at something she wasn't saying. And in the days that followed, European media couldn't let go. Headlines screamed, "Leonor's whisper, royal connection confirmed." Paparazzi followed every move. Speculation surged. But amidst the frenzy, both Leonor and Christian stayed silent. No statements. No denials. Just silence, and a few carefully orchestrated appearances that only fueled the story further. When Leonor returned to Madrid, she was seen carrying a small pendant. Eagle-eyed fans noticed it resembled the crest of Denmark. Coincidence? Maybe. But the internet didn't think so. And as for Christian, he was seen at an event in Aarhus wearing a subtle navy bracelet, one remarkably similar to the style Leonor had been photographed with during her training at the Zaragoza Military Academy. Small details. Too small for a press release. But too meaningful to ignore. Weeks later, at a gala dinner hosted in Brussels, the two met again. Their greeting, warm but restrained, drew knowing glances from the cameras. Yet behind that royal composure was something deeper. Connection. Trust. Unspoken affection. By now, Europe was watching every flicker of emotion between them. And though the royal houses denied any romantic attachment, even insiders admitted privately that their chemistry is undeniable. But what makes this story remarkable isn't the gossip. It's the courage behind it. Because Leonor, who has spent her life walking the tightrope between duty and emotion, dared to speak from the heart, even in the most public moment of her life. She could have stayed silent. She could have played the part perfectly. But instead, she whispered something real. Something human. And in doing so, she reminded the world that even queens in waiting crave authenticity. It wasn't rebellion. It was revelation. And Christian, equally burdened by royal expectation, responded not with shock, but understanding. Their friendship, or whatever it truly is, stands as a quiet defiance against centuries of scripted royal formality. As royal historians noted later, it's rare to see a future monarch reveal unfiltered emotion in a ceremonial setting. What Leonor did was small, but symbolically enormous. In a single whisper, she bridged the gap between the crown and the heart. And now, months after that day, the world still remembers. The Copenhagen ceremony wasn't just a diplomatic milestone, it became a royal turning point. Because sometimes, it's not the speeches that make history. It's the whispers. The whispers that remind us that beneath the crowns and titles, there are still two people, young, hopeful, and quietly in love. Princess Leonor and Prince Christian may never confirm what was said that day. They may follow duty, distance, and the demands of destiny. But for those few seconds in Copenhagen, the future Queen of Spain looked at the future King of Denmark, and said something that made the entire continent stop and feel. And maybe, that's what true royalty really is. Not the ceremony, not the titles, but the moments when the heart speaks louder than the crown. Europe is still in shock. But perhaps, deep down, it's not shock at all. It's wonder, at the beauty of something real. Something rare. Because every fairy tale has a whisper. And this one, just, might be the beginning of theirs.